Put your hands above your hip. Oh. Now you're formally ready, Steve. You will address me as master or sir. I've got you. In the beginning of the movie, Girl in the Box, we meet Cameron and Janice, a married couple in a secluded forest.
They are burying a body without any clear explanation of their motives. The next morning, Janice is visibly troubled by what they've done, but Cameron tries to calm her, calling it an accident and encouraging her to move on. The couple heads home, their actions hidden from the outside world. Meanwhile, a young woman named Colleen is introduced. She's hitchhiking, hoping to find a ride to a friend's birthday party in California. After waiting for some time, a car finally pulls over. It's Cameron and Janice. Grateful for the lift, Colleen accepts without hesitation. As they drive, she asks Cameron to stop at a gas station for a restroom break. When Colleen returns, she notices a box has been placed in the back seat, stirring her suspicions. Though uneasy, she tries to shrug it off, not yet realizing the danger she's in. Continuing the drive, Cameron suggests a quick detour to a nearby tourist spot. Colleen hesitates, wanting to arrive at her friend's place before nightfall. Janice assures her it'll just be a short stop to take photos, so Colleen reluctantly agrees. They veer off onto a lonely wooded path. When they stop, Colleen looks around, confused, seeing no sign of a tourist site. Janice explains that they need to walk to reach it, as the area is inaccessible by car. But as they begin walking, Cameron suddenly attacks Colleen, smothering her from behind. She's overpowered as he handcuffs her, blindfolds her, and gags her mouth. Cameron forces her into the car, placing her head inside the box he had brought. Back at their home, Cameron and Janice take Colleen into an underground room. Cameron suspends her by the wrists, leaving her hanging, then strips her clothes and begins torturing her. Her screams of agony seem to fuel Cameron's sadistic desires. Shockingly, Cameron calls Janice over, and the two engage in an intimate moment, fueled by Colleen's pain, revealing Cameron's disturbing sexual fixation. Once he's satisfied, Cameron removes her from the restraints, securing her head back into the box. Colleen is left terrified, in disbelief over what she's endured. The next morning, Cameron prepares to leave for work. Janice, visibly shaken by the kidnapping, is plagued with guilt. Cameron reassures her, saying that releasing Colleen would put them at risk of being reported to the police. When Cameron leaves, Janice, hearing Colleen's cries, checks on her. Colleen pleads with Janice to set her free, promising not to go to the authorities. Janice, torn with guilt, contemplates helping her, but fears Cameron's wrath and the possibility of Colleen breaking her word. Later, Cameron returns home and brings food to Colleen, offering her a piece of bread. That evening, Janice and Cameron argue. She insists Cameron promise not to take further advantage of Colleen. Cameron explains his intentions, saying he wants Colleen as an outlet for the violence he used to inflict on Janice. In a twisted justification, he tries to ease Janice's concerns by making Colleen a substitute for his aggression. The following day, Cameron moves Colleen into a slightly larger crate. Isolated and restrained, she can only sob, replaying memories of her father in her mind. Her father had given her money for a bus to California, but she'd refused, preferring to hitchhike, a decision that led her to this horrifying situation. Days go by, and Colleen's father grows anxious, unable to reach her. He reaches out to her friends, only to learn she never arrived at the party. Worried, he attempts to file a missing person report, but the police dismiss his concerns, as Colleen is an adult, with no evidence of foul play. They assume she's simply spending time with friends. Months later, Janice visits Cameron at his job, excited to share that she's pregnant. Cameron's response is indifferent, showing little emotion. Janice begs him to release Colleen, fearing that the presence of a captive could traumatize their unborn child. Cameron, however, is unwilling to consider releasing Colleen. He assures Janice that he'll find another way to handle the situation. One day, Cameron comes across a magazine featuring articles about human trafficking, sparking an idea. He tells Janice to prepare a contract, posing as an agreement for ownership of Colleen, signed under a fictional company from the magazine. Cameron presents this document to Colleen, who is already terrified and disoriented. He convinces her that the company
and any attempt to escape will result in brutal retribution against her and her family. The fear takes hold, and Colleen signs the contract, feeling there is no other choice. As part of his rules, Cameron begins controlling Colleen even more strictly. He changes her name to Kay, instructing her to address him as master and Janice as mistress. When he says attention, Colleen is to strip down and face the corner as a form of punishment. During one such moment, Cameron's dark obsession with Colleen intensifies, but Janice, noticing Cameron's disturbing interest, intervenes, ordering Colleen to put her clothes back on, hinting at her own jealousy. The next day, Cameron returns home from shopping and is briefly confronted by a neighbor, questioning his habit of keeping the windows closed. Cameron brushes it off and continues inside. As months pass, Cameron and Janice relocate to a new home. One night, Janice goes into labor and delivers a baby girl, with Cameron assisting, since there's no midwife. They name their daughter Amber, marking a new chapter in their disturbing household. Later, Cameron takes Colleen out to collect wood to sell. While chopping, he accidentally strikes his leg with the axe. Colleen, caught between fear and her instinct to help, chooses to assist him, tending to his wound once they're back home. Witnessing this, Janice grows jealous of their interaction, and later that night, they have an intimate encounter involving Colleen. However, Janice notices Cameron's interest shifting towards Colleen, which frustrates her, and she storms out. Cameron follows, and they argue, with Janice demanding he keep his distance from Colleen. She also urges him to lock Colleen away for an extended time. Over time, Colleen endures prolonged confinement. After nearly 4 years, she is finally let out of her crate, catching a glimpse of Amber, now older. It hits Colleen just how long she's been held captive. More time passes, reaching nearly 6 years, until one day, Janice takes Colleen to church, revealing her own deep religious beliefs. At church, Janice has a moment of clarity, beginning to feel remorseful about their actions. One day, Janice questions Colleen about her interactions with Cameron, particularly while she worked night shifts. Colleen admits she simply did what Cameron commanded, emphasizing her role as a captive. In a surprising turn, Cameron allows Colleen to visit her family, under the strict condition she not mention anything about her captivity, warning her that any violation could put her family in grave danger. Desperate to reunite with her loved ones, Colleen agrees. Upon arriving, her family is overjoyed to see her after so many years, spending precious time catching up. To conceal her ordeal, Colleen tells them she's simply been busy working. When asked about her silence, she nervously claims she couldn't find the time to call. Though only given a brief visit, Colleen cherishes the moment. After a few days, Cameron arrives to pick her up, introducing himself to Colleen's family as her boyfriend and hinting at marriage. Colleen's family is stunned, as she'd never mentioned a relationship. Her father requests that they inform him when they've set a wedding date, unaware of Colleen's situation. That evening, Cameron reveals his intent to make Colleen his second wife. However, Janice, who has returned home earlier, overhears him. She feels deeply betrayed by Cameron's declaration and decides to take drastic action. The next day, Janice tells Cameron she plans to visit her parents, secretly intending to report him to the authorities. Cameron, furious, warns her that doing so would mean losing Amber. After Janice leaves, Cameron vents his anger on Colleen, accusing her of disrespect, and locks her away once more. With Cameron away, Janice returns to Colleen's aid, revealing the truth. The slavery contract and so-called company were fabrications, crafted by Cameron to manipulate and control her. Realizing the deception, Janice helps Colleen escape, taking her to the bus station and urging her to return to her family. Without hesitation, Colleen leaves, finally free. Back at home, Cameron is left alone, gripped by frustration and guilt. Soon after, he's apprehended by the police and sentenced to 104 years in prison for his crimes. Janice, however, is granted immunity for her role in exposing Cameron's abuse. After 7 harrowing years, Colleen's captivity ends, concluding the movie with a sense of justice. End of the movie. Thank you for watching this recap. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. I always love hearing from you, so feel free to leave a comment below with your thoughts or suggestions for future content. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video.